This is part 2 of converting an E-Ride Pro SS into a 150cc go-kart. Strap in, because we're about to do the first test drive. Alright, look how big this sprocket is. These are the wheels. It's 12 inches, the wheels are 22 inches, so what does that leave? 5 inches of clearance. So I'm definitely gonna have to weld a sprocket cover over this for going over, because if you look at it, it's like in the middle of the go-kart. So I had to move this frame up. I cut it from right here, and I had to move it up because the sprocket's so big. This is the bottom of the E-Ride battery. It goes in there just like that. Kind of like that. And that's gonna be mounted under here, kind of recessed. The reason I have to have the battery drop down is because when these springs are compressed, this frame moves up forward, so if the battery's sticking up here, it's gonna hit the frame here. Got the battery temporarily mounted in there. Like I said, I had to lower it, so the suspension, this whole, see how these shocks work? The whole axle comes up, so if the battery was just mounted up here, it'd be hitting this if we went over any big bumps with two people in it. So I had to drop it down, but I got that welded in there. I'm gonna 3D print a bracket. I got one coming up here and one there, and I'm gonna 3D print a bracket to go around the battery. There's gonna be a lot of vibration, so I figure if I 3D print something in like PETG, it'll absorb the shock a little bit better than if I were to make a steel bracket and machine that. I also got the controller mounted up, spot welded this. I also spot welded the controller on this side and ran one of those there, so that's wired up good. I'm thinking I'm gonna mount the breaker here. Yeah, this is the wiring mess I gotta deal with. I mean, it is so complicated. I labeled a couple of them, but man, I really hope I don't mess up a wire, because if I mess up a wire and it throws a code, it's gonna be a friggin' headache so I just spot welded it. This nut and bolt works good for the chain tension. That seems pretty good. One of my concerns with the chain is how big the sprocket is and how close the drive sprocket is to the axle sprocket. It's pretty close. I don't know, let me know if that's gonna be an issue, but I guess I'll probably find out. All right, about to test it. I'm missing a bunch of connections, but I think some of them are like brakes and maybe like brake light. I don't know, but it's plugged in. I just flipped the breaker on. So we're gonna start it up and see, hopefully it'll run. Heard beep. All right, no codes. I still have the twist throttle wired up. Oh boy, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Give it a little throttle. No, nothing. Oh. Oh boy, we got power. Let's see how the sprocket looks lined up. I'm giving it some throttle and it's not going. Yeah, it's like 5%. Making a little noise. I don't know if it's like jumping the sprocket or what. I don't know, we'll have to throw the wheels on and test it out. All right, the tires are just sitting on there. It's powered on. I'm gonna give it a little throttle. This might be a bad idea, I don't know. See that whiny noise? There's definitely some more resistance than it's used to. All right, we'll give it a little beans. A little bit more here. I designed the throttle cable, 3D printing that, as well as the battery bracket. I'm gonna 3D print this as well. So this is gonna go over the battery and hold it into place. So I'm printing the first versions of that. I'm gonna take you into the 3D printing area. Show you at cooking. So I'm running Flash Forge printers and an Anchor Make over here. But old Creality, but this is a print farm. So this is gonna be the battery bracket. So the E-Rad's gonna get slide in there. I'm gonna screw that to the steel struts. That's gonna hold the battery. This is what I'm thinking with this. This is gonna go around the throttle. So I'm gonna trim this. This is just a plastic throttle. I'm gonna trim this down and slide this over it. This is the original go-kart sprocket. So that just slides in there. And then we'll go around the throttle. The cable will go around. So when you twist the throttle, just like a carburetor throttle body, it'll pull the cable while you twist it. All right, this is the throttle. So this part is 3D printed, the cable holder. The rest I just machined and welded. Also got the seats in here now. But when I give it some gas, here's how it's looking. So it's kind of hard to tweak it to get it right, but let's give it full throttle. All right, this is the old seat. This is the new seat. It's so cold in here, I can see my breath. Look at this. So this seat is the new seat. Couldn't fit in here because there's this cross beam right here. Looking at it, it's definitely structural, but we're gonna take it out. Maybe weld something else on. This is what I had to remove. Right there. Or I could just, I don't know where I'm gonna put it. All right, it's turned on. It's plugged in. This is how I have the battery mounted. The chain alignment looks good. This is the throttle. I welded on the frame here. So there we go. I was gonna say it when you press it, the wheels turn, but you already got that idea here. I'm pressing the throttle and nothing. So that's anticlimactic right there. E-bikes like Surons, Telarias, and E-Ride Pro, and probably the new Altus, have this thing. This thing was causing me a headache. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like a relay of sort, but if you look closely, it says up right there. There is a sensor in here. It's a trip sensor. So if you drop your e-bike, like if you crash, it'll cut the power. You have to turn the bike off and back on. The brakes are working here. It's kind of intense. Alright, watch the body bend when I give it some gas here. Whew. That's some torque right there. We're gonna have to do it again with this one. I'm gonna do the wiring first. So look at this mess of wiring. I counted about 30 different wires that need to be ran to the front. So instead of individually wiring every single one and running it, I'm still gonna have to individually cut and wire every wire twice. But I'm gonna connect it to, I have 25 feet of this 15 wire, 15C by 22 gauge, to the dash, ignition, headlights. I'm gonna be swapping out a light bar for the 2 original headlights. I got two LED ones, so I'm swapping out the halogen for those. Just coming along. Hopefully today I'll be able to do the first test drive. Connected the display. That was 9 wires right there. So this is gonna take a while. This is very tedious. And I have to do this same thing on the other side because I cut it. So this times 2 will be the hardest part of this. And I swear, if one of these wires is loose and the display doesn't work, it's gonna be such a headache. All right, I wired up the last part of this, or I'm finishing it. It's the Sport Eco regen braking turbo on the horn. I'm mounting that up here on the dash right next to this is the headlight on and off switch. Got the display up there, but this is basically what I'm having to do. So I cut this from the original, and I wired in another like 7 or 8 feet wire with a cover and all the way on it, and that way I was able to run it through the frame here. So that goes up through the frame and then comes out here, and then that electrical tape is where it connected it. So it's still got the original harness. This is a complete mess right now. But check this out. So we got the ignition wired up. Got the headlights, or one of the headlights, I guess. One of the headlights isn't working. On off switch for those, or one of them. We have the engine, or the motor braking right here. It's in sport mode, eco mode. Horn works, turbo. Alright, it's all wired up. It only has 1 seat in it, but I'm gonna go ahead and test drive it and see how the gearing feels. I'm sure I'll run into some problems, but it's finally time to turn it on and get it out of the garage for the first time. should have tested to make sure this key works to turn it off quick. Yeah, turns off quick. Okay. The throttle isn't gonna open up all the way. Man, this thing's quiet. First test drive. Feels pretty good. I can't give it full throttle, so that wasn't even full throttle. That's probably like 75%, maybe 80%. Let's see if we can do a burnout here. Oh, it feels like it's gonna roll. I don't know if the tires are spinning there. This tire would probably be spinning. It wants to spin. I can't give it full throttle though, so yeah, you see how loose this thing is? I'll have to put a new one, shift it back probably more. I'll go do that right now and give it another rip, see how the tension's. I have no idea if that's good tension or not. I might just weld this on, but how low the sprocket is there, it's pretty bad. I'm gonna have to put a cover over that.